Here.
Mr. Bender. Mrs. Reese. Mrs. Riley.
Here.
Mrs. Waxler. Here. Mr. Zeppos.
Here.
Mrs. Lukowski. Here.
Welcome everyone. The upcoming meetings are listed in your agenda and on the sideboard. We held an executive session before tonight's meeting to discuss a legal issue regarding the LERTA at Wyomissing Square, and we also discussed the item under curriculum and technology. Mrs. Hendricks is here, and she would like to make an announcement about an upcoming event at West Reading.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to come over and let you know that our 4th annual Wax Museum and Art Show is coming up at West Reading on Thursday night. It's a fundraiser that raises money for Camp Conrad Weiser. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the project, because when you hear Wax Museum, it's not really self-explanatory as what it is. So it's a language arts project. The students got to pick a biography and read that biography and take notes on significant events in their person's life. Then they followed that up with some online research to bring everything up to date. And then the other language arts teacher and myself taught them how to turn those notes into a script. And they're going to be performing. They turn into that person that they researched and read about on Thursday evening and Thursday afternoon. So I would like to give you a little taste of what you'll see that night. So if you could just be a little creative with me and close your eyes. I'm going to bring them in so you get the full effect of the statues. Okay, you may open your eyes, and if you have some money in front of you, they will come to life if you put some money in their box, which is on the floor in front of them.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We just got a break from family. My name is George. You may know me as the Bow Line Dancer. I revolutionized modern dance and dancing barefoot. Oh my, I'm getting way too far ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning. I was born in San Francisco on May 26, 1977. When I was an infant, my parents divorced and became very poor. My mother did not have enough money to buy Christmas presents, so we didn't have a Christmas. Crazy, right? But I survived. When I was 2, I started to teach myself dance. By the time I was 6, my sister Elizabeth and I were giving dance lessons in the neighborhood. When I was 10, we started having quite large classes, but we started to charge a little bit more so that we could help earn income for our family. We decided to put public school to take our career further. When I was 16, I started to go to college. I went to college at a very young age because I couldn't school. I proved my mother wrong by going to college. I didn't think I'd make it there, but I did. My brother and I moved to Europe so I could study Greek mythology and iconography. We visited to many ancient rituals around days. If you'd like to hear more, come to the Wax Museum on Thursday evening or afternoon. I'm sorry, but this event is running quite late. Now, if you want to see the rest of my life, you have to come attend the last meeting this Thursday evening and questions. I'm so sorry. We just got a race to dance. My name is Isadora Duncan. They know me as Mother Modern Dance. I revolutionized modern dance and dancing breakfast. Oh my, I'm getting way too far ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning. I was born in
So we have 130 more of these. So please come, bring your friends, tell everyone in the neighborhood. It's a really fascinating, as you can see, they've done a lot of work. They have a lot memorized, and it's a great event. It is, in the afternoon session is 1:30 to 2:15. That's open to the public, and then our evening is 6:30 to 8. So two sessions. And then you can come over to the Taste of Wyomissing and have a late dinner. Thank you.
Did the audience have a wax museum figure? Oh, excellent. Okay, good.
It's not going to be mandatory for AP Weston Street.
That was fun. Okay, is there anyone in the audience who has a comment tonight? Okay, would you please step to the microphone and identify yourself by name and address, please?
Hi, I'm Anastasia Liebhart. I'm at 28 Junco Drive. I think that was an excellent example of in-depth learning and how students can really embrace their education. And I say that as I'm going to talk about some things about the current PSSAs my children are coming home with. First, we got this paper that tells us all about how we can be healthy, better parents basically for our kids. And then I found in my daughter's backpack the packet that the state gives to the teachers, how to prep the teachers for PSSAs, and it was given to the kids to practice. Okay, and it even has the directions for the teachers in the front of it, given to my 3rd grader and my 4th grader, about how they're scored. I don't know why students need this. All right, with that said, I'm going to note the fact that I've heard a 2.2 increase in taxes that may be coming. And with that said, I think, has anybody investigated why the test scores are going lower? There's one area, and if I'm looking at the test scores correctly, it's ESL and disadvantaged learners. And there's a reason for that. I'm interested to knowing if anybody has the quantity and the topics of state testing that was given to the students with consideration to their mother tongue. Is the state asking them to translate the test and then perform math or science? Because that puts our students at a disadvantage, and we're losing funding because of that. So instead of raising our taxes, that's what we should be questioning the state. I'm wondering though, with that said, all of this, and my kids came home with a PSSA pep song going to YMCA, singing PSSA. I mean, who's letting this happen? At what level of the organization is that happening? Is that being okay? I'm going to leave it there and hope that you take what I say under consideration. Thank you.
Okay, we have some routine approvals. It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the following minutes. March 14th, 2016 business meeting with committee reports. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Mrs. Filer, may I have roll call, please?
Mrs. Waxler. Yes. Mr. Zeppos.
Yes.
Mrs. Bilkowski. Yes. Mrs. Larkin.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Mr. Redner.
Yes.
Mrs. Riley.
Yes.
7 yes.
It is recommended that the Board of School Directors accept the Treasurer's report.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Mrs. Filer, may I have roll call, please?
Mr. Zeppos.
Yes.
Mrs. Bilkowski. Mrs. Larkin.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Mr. Redner.
Yes.
Mrs. Riley.
Yes.
Mrs. Waxler.
Yes.
7 yes.
It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve payment of bills for the month of March 2016 as listed in the financial packet. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Is there any discussion? May I have roll call, please, Mrs. Filer?
Mrs. Bilkowski. Mrs. Larkin.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Mr. Redner.
Yes.
Mrs. Riley.
Yes.
Mrs. Waxler.
Yes.
Mr. Zeppos.
Yes.
7 yes.
Under Curriculum and Technology, it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the following curriculum and technology items.
May I have a motion, please?
So,
Second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Mrs. Mrs. Feiler, may I have roll call, please?
Mrs. Larkin. Yes. Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Mr. Redner.
Yes.
Mrs. Riley.
Yes.
Mrs. Waxler. Yes. Mr. Zeppos.
Yes.
Mrs. Bilkowski. Yes. 7 yes.
Under Finance and Facilities, it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the following finance and facility items numbered 1 through 5.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Mrs. Feiler, may I have roll call, please?
Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Mr. Redner.
Yes.
Mrs. Reese. Mrs. Riley.
Yes.
Mrs. Waxler. Yes. Mr. Zeppos.
Yes.
Mrs. Bilkowski. Yes. Mrs. Larkin. Yes. 7 yes.
The board would like to thank WAIF for their Domino grant at the West Reading Elementary Center. It sounds like that's going to be a fun project. And the donations made in memory of Michael DeCusatis. Thank you.
Under Personnel and Policy, it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the following personnel and policy items numbered 1 through 6.
May I have a motion? I'll take that. How about a second? Someone really has to motion. Laurie seconded. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Feiler, may I have roll call, please?
Mr. Redner.
Yes.
Mrs. Riley.
Yes.
Mrs. Waxler. Yes. Mr. Zeppos.
Yes.
Mrs. Bilkowski. Yes. Mrs. Larkin. Yes. Mr. Painter.
Yes.
7 yes.
The board would like to thank Mrs. Gula, Mrs. Schoaf, and Mrs. Watrous for their dedication and contributions to the district. And we have some exciting old business tonight. We would like to swear in our newest school board member, Mrs. Terry Taylor.
You're a fan.
Bible and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Terry Taylor, do solemnly swear that I will support, obey and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. Thank you.
What kids are? Is there any new business? Okay. The right to know requests are listed in the agenda and on the sideboard. Are there any updates from organizations? Wyomissing Area Education Association?
Do a quick note, just to remind everybody about the principal's party coming up Friday, May 13th.
Thank you. And how about AFSCME? WAIF? PTA wants to thank everyone who participated in the second Family Fun Run Walk and 5K yesterday. They appreciate all the support for the PTA from administration, teachers, sponsors, volunteers, and participants. Staff Appreciation Week will be celebrated May 9th to the 13th. The PTA continues to look for monetary donations, meal donations at all 3 schools, and volunteers to help that week. They're also still looking for a PTA president for the upcoming school year. Thanks again, and your support is greatly appreciated. If there is no further business, may I please have a motion to adjourn? Second? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Meeting adjourned.